Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. Good evening to all of you. You are once again welcome here on your very beloved platform, the Awakening of Consciousness platform. So this is the headline of international news. It's done. We don't know what will happen in Washington. In any case, at the moment I am conducting the video conference. It is 17 hours 0 day, 17 hours 00 GMT. But Ukraine has finally decided to sign the agreement on minerals, on rare earths, with the United States of America. After several months of hesitation, the Ukrainian Minister of Economy and Finance flew today, April 30th, 2025, to the United States of America, to Washington. And that means it's already signed. The negotiations are over. If you see now, it's a minister who is going. It's no longer the president, which means it's already okay. And this sufficiently demonstrates the proof of the exchanges, the two face-to-face meetings, the face-to-face, I would say, that the two leaders had at the Vatican. Donald Trump and Zelensky, this is the result since at the Vatican. When was it? When did it happen at the Vatican? And just a few days later, we see that it's the Minister of Economy and Finance who is now going for the signing. That means it's already done. But what is the content of this latest decision, of this last agreement? Let's delve deeper. We will see what's happening. But before continuing, thank you for sharing the video conference. Share it in all the groups. Don't forget to give it a lot of likes. It gives the video conference enough visibility. According to official information, Ukraine expects to sign an agreement this Wednesday in Washington, apparently negotiated with the Americans, which is supposed to provide them access to minerals, to the Americans, the most strategic minerals of Ukraine. This is what a senior official of the Ukrainian presidency indicated to AFP. So as announced, Serba, the Minister of Economy, Putin, and Finance, Leila Chevridenko, is on her way to Washington and is expected to sign the agreement this Wednesday evening. And this detail is added by this source from the Ukrainian presidency, who preferred to remain anonymous. So, read this. It is truly a beautiful and fair international agreement between the American and Ukrainian governments regarding joint investments in the development and reconstruction of Ukraine. Here, and this time, it is not the same anonymous source. It is the Ukrainian Prime Minister, Denis Shmyhal, who praised it on national television. The first source preferred to remain anonymous. The second source obviously preferred to express satisfaction. We are not lacking sources. When the Prime Minister describes this agreement as a beautiful, fair international agreement, it must be understood that Zelensky has already had his share. It must be understood that even the Prime Minister has already had his share. And it is this big cake that Ukraine Zelensky was waiting for. He was waiting for this. Even if he leaves now, he can leave, since he has already taken the jackpot. So, what needs to be said? The Ukrainian Prime Minister, for his part, mentioned a signing scheduled within the next 24 hours. So that was last night. He said within 24 hours there will be a signing. So, everything suggests that it will be signed. Ukraine is sold. This document, whose latest version still needs to be formally approved by the Ukrainian government, is the result of the hard and thorough work of Ukrainian and American negotiators. Here is what he also added. And so, the draft agreement has been, for weeks, at the heart of tensions between Kiev and Washington, as we know, and then because there are questions of guarantees that arise, etc. Now, a the previous version of this agreement that we have seen, and which should have been signed by Zelensky, he had refused. He refused because it did not suit Ukraine at all. The latest version that also came did not provide any guarantees or anything. Zelensky had started to lament about this latest version. But apparently, it's this latest version that is already agreed upon and will be signed tonight, if it hasn't already been signed. So, what needs to be said? The point on which they agreed is that there will be neither debt nor guarantee. The money they will give to Ukraine will not be a debt. That's one. There is no security guarantee. So, it has nothing to do with the negotiations for peace in Ukraine. So what does that mean? If this agreement is signed tonight, Ukraine will come out as the loser. It is already losing because its minerals are being overexploited. When the Ukrainians wake up, it will be too late. But also and above all, its security is not guaranteed. And after the signing of this agreement, if Zelensky continues to be stubborn, Ukraine no longer has anything. The United States needs. America might completely wash its hands of the matter, getting rid of this peace negotiation affair. And what America might do is perhaps secure the areas where it is exploiting its minerals. However, we still hope that this option will not come to pass, since America would prefer to work in peace and tranquility. Here is a second option, which would certainly push America to turn against Russia, since what America was seeking, if America obtains it, for America to continue to better exploit these minerals, there must be peace. And if Russia is disturbing the peace, it could obviously lead to problems between Russia and the United States of America. So, we have two hypotheses. But the last hypothesis is the most probable. This means that the world must remain in total vigilance. That's what it's about. So, contrary to what Donald Trump wanted, the text does not acknowledge a debt towards the United States of America. The money that America had sent to Ukraine, in this new version, is not recognized as a debt. So, no debt, no aid granted before the signing is part of this agreement. This is what the Prime Minister assured. No debt. Even the aid that was granted before this signing is not part of the agreement. So, Donald Trump has nothing to say about that. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, on the other hand, the document that still needs to be ratified by the Ukrainian parliament after its signing does not seem to include any American security guarantees. So, the Minister of Economy and Finance will go to sign SIB, which would be just the first step. Afterwards, the Ukrainian parliament will have to approve it. And then, worse, it will have to go before President Zelensky. So, there is still a whole procedure to go through. And so, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the headline news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with new videos, new news. This was the voice of your humble servant, the one and only Samouraï.